everybody ready for me to get started? Okay. Good morning, and I want to thank everyone for being here. I'll do a few comments in English, then I'd like to do some comments in Spanish before I begin answering some questions. And so let me begin by taking a deep breath and telling you that yesterday was tough, and today's also tough, because when the unimaginable happens, even though we train and we prepare, it doesn't erase the huge amount of emotion that comes with the responsibility of serving in public schools. And I say that as a reflection of every member of the team that is Dallas ISD, and specifically in this instance, the team that is Walnut Hill Leadership Academy and the team that is Thomas Jefferson Early College High School. Quite simply, not just as a superintendent, but as a mom, this is your absolute worst nightmare as a parent. Every day our students show up and they lean on us. They lean on us for guidance, for academic instruction, for conversation, for support, and truthfully for our courage. And just a few minutes ago, I was speaking with our absolutely phenomenal and resilient educators just down the hall. And that's why we're here today. We're here today to begin the healing process. And I say begin, because this isn't a time-bound process. This takes time. Just Monday evening, I had reached out to my colleague, Dr. Marcelo Cavazos, and offered our support in any way that we could. And yesterday, we were in the same situation, and that's why it's important that we work together. This team of dedicated leaders and instructors are committed each day to wearing the continual many hats that are expected of them, so that every single one of our students gets a fair shot in life of quality of living. And yet we are also reminded, because of yesterday's incident, of just how valuable having training and relationships are in times like this. I've talked with and listened to a few of our teachers, to our principals, who naturally are also reeling from this incident. And it was important that I connect with them first before I met with you. I hope you all understand that. After the horrific incident with the TJ student, I want to tell you that as hard as it is to use this next word, I'm going to use it, how proud I am to serve alongside individuals like we have here at Thomas Jefferson. We had two in particular who rushed to the scene of the incident, not away, who rushed to the scene, called 911 to provide assistance to the student. Those are the types of educators that we have. And educators, by my definition, is everyone who contributes to the educational process. So it's not always teachers. It's our custodians, it's our cafeteria workers, it's our monitors, it's our counselors, and so on and so on. Within minutes of the initial 911 call, first responders, including Dallas ISD Police, DPD, Dallas Fire and Rescue, they all came together to secure the campus. And we all know that school safety is everyone's shared responsibility, now more than ever. The investigation is ongoing, and I'm sure that afterwards you're going to have many questions, many of which I do have some information that I will not be sharing with you at this time, because I need the investigation completed, thorough. Our own Dallas ISD Police Department will be and is taking the lead on this, which I am grateful for. We all know that violence is up in our Dallas community, and so for this to become another investigation for our police department of the community that we call Dallas would be yet another situation they'd be investigating. This allows our team to make this a priority. So you can see why I do feel that that's a strength of having our own Dallas ISD Police Department. We thought it was important again today to allow individuals to heal, and here's why. We can't contribute to the normalizing of guns in our communities. And if we held school today as usual, I feel that we would be contributing to that normalization. We all have to come together to recognize that these events manifest themselves in many of our community locations of gathering. Whether it's a synagogue, a church, a movie theater, or a school parking lot. This is a reflection of where we are today. And we should also remember that of the 1,400 students that attend Thomas Jefferson High School, this involved approximately 3. Let us not forget the other 1,300 plus who are still counting on us tomorrow to serve them well, who weren't involved in this incident, while we continue to find ways to be more proactive with the individuals who are making choices that may not be so positive. And I remember standing in front of most of you this past August when we talked about the importance of school safety, and I outlined for you our comprehensive plan. I do need you to understand that that plan worked, and that's why that weapon was not in our school building. Those systems do work. Now, it also allows us to recognize we still have other vulnerabilities, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, clearly we're going to have to now look into how we become even more secure with our parking facilities. I can't ignore that. I owe that to our entire team. We're going to have to figure it out, but the best way to do that is to do that together. I want to remind everyone the plans that we have incorporated have been extensive. We've had facility enhancements, extensive protocols, training, safety awareness, mental health programs. We've brought our mental health team here today to help our adults, because if we don't pour into our adults won't have what's necessary to provide to our students. And of course, we're going to be having ongoing after incident reports and studies, and we'll learn from these situations. We have to work together. And as much as this is also a dark day, then we also have to look for the light, because our kids are coming looking to us for support tomorrow. We will be here, we will be smiling, and we will also be ready for their tears. But today it was important that our team have an opportunity to shed some tears themselves so that they can re-energize themselves in preparation for our students, for their parents, and for each other. Ayer lo que sucedió fue terrible. En pocas palabras, es lo peor que puedo pensar, no solamente como superintendente, sino como una mamá. Todos los días nuestros estudiantes nos necesitan con una mente sana y un corazón valiente. Ayer fue muy difícil. Hoy nos juntamos primeramente para sanar. Es importante tomar tiempo para que todos podamos hacer una reunión para estar preparados para los niños que vienen mañana. Les quiero dar gracias a las personas que ayudaron a los alumnos, el que estaba en el incidente, además los que estaban todavía presentes, los llegaron adentro del edificio y estaban protegidos. Mañana vamos a estar preparados para los niños porque nos necesitan. I'll go ahead and take some questions. Robin?
You mentioned that yesterday's incident involved 3 students. Do you have what details can you share about what led up to that incident?
So I'm going to caution everyone not to believe everything that's being reported because I've seen some references to there was a fight between students. At this moment in time, there is no evidence that we have with regard to that. We do have other information, and again, I'm gonna refrain from giving too much information as the investigation is ongoing.
You mentioned also the parking spaces need to be more secure. You also made reference to yourself being a mom. What questions do you have right now about safety and security protocols based on the information you have and what you've observed outside?
So I think first and foremost, we design our facilities with safety at the forefront, and we also design them to be learning spaces. And so everything is always a balance between how much of our designs are ensuring that we also don't become, fortresses of some sort. So as a mom, your immediate thought is always, how could this have been prevented? As a superintendent, not only do I have that same question, I then have to look for the resources because all of this takes additional resources. And so I'm going to use this moment to remind everyone that superintendents across the state are coming to the legislature asking that they give us a minimum of $200 per student just for the purposes of safety in our schools and to allow us to have even more mental health interventions early on.
Yeah, when you say that there were 3 people involved, can you just clarify? I mean, I assume one of them is the one who was shot, and then one of them would be the one who fired, and then who would the third person be?
Yeah.
Has there been an arrest?
So at this point, this is almost like you may recall when we were younger and someone would give information. By the time it gets to the end of the chain, it's morphed into something else. So I'm going to tell you the information I've received up to this point is that there were 2 individuals who were in the vehicle from where the incident occurred towards the one individual who was in the parking lot. And all of that happened in the parking lot. So there were 2 people, to the best of my knowledge, the vehicle that arrived, committed an act, and drove away. So that's the total of 3. 2 in the vehicle, 1 who was actually in the parking lot.
Are they all believed to be students, and has there been an arrest?
There's enough information for us to believe that at least 2 of those 3 individuals were students here.
But no arrest?
No arrests at this time.
A question in the back, and then I'll go here.
You mentioned that it's educators, it's not just teachers. Who were the people that rushed to the scene to help that scene?
Well, I'm going to let our principal momentarily give you the specifics. I just met those 2 individuals, and again, their response is truly inspirational. How they acted, as well as followed protocols of getting everyone else into the building at that time. But I'll let our principal give you the specific information. Sí. Voy a dejar el director darle más información sobre los héroes que fueron al incidente para dar ayuda al alumno en ese momento, y estoy orgullosa que tenemos esos tipos de individuales que trabajan aquí juntos con nosotros.
Me gustaría que me dijera un poco sobre qué cree que debe hacerse, la pregunta que le hacían en inglés. Estos movimientos ocurrieron en estacionamientos. Esto lleva a pensar ahora los distritos costoso tener que ampliar la seguridad sin que sean cárceles.
Lo que es muy fácil es siempre ver una situación y pensar qué debíamos hacer antes. Y yo sé que eso es algo que pasa en estas situaciones. Sí vamos a pensar qué más podemos hacer. Sí tenemos ideas, pero lo que no vamos a hacer es hacer unas decisiones inmediatos que también son importantes para otras escuelas en el distrito, ¿verdad? Podemos reconocer que hay algo que si vamos a hacer en esta escuela para, por ejemplo, en estacionamientos, que lo vamos a hacer en otras escuelas. Pero quiero tomar tiempo para que el equipo pueda revisar qué son las cosas que contribuyeron a este incidente y luego qué vamos a hacer para ser más proactivos. And I will repeat that part in English just because I think with regard to the question about what about the parking lots. I don't want to sit individually and decide, here's what we're going to do, and now the parking lots are going to be safe. I mean, if it were that easy, I know everyone here would recognize we would have done that, right? So what we do need to do is get our teams together, get our police department together, get our team members together, and then gather more information about how do we secure our parking lots in a better way. I am committed. We have to be committed to making our parking lots safer.
Radio,
You actually just answered my question, which was, it was going to be like, do you work with, because the Arlington one was in a parking lot too. And they said, we don't have, like, you haven't gone through the metal detector yet. And so do you work with other superintendents potentially too, like different districts, say what's working for you guys and kind of
We absolutely do talk to each other. I'll give another example, even just in making the decision around how Dr. Cavazos decided to take a day as well. You all recall after Monday's incident, they took Tuesday. Ours was, of course, a little different. We didn't have a fatality, but nonetheless, it's still a tragedy. Superintendent Rick Lopez from Garland ISD called me. I'm giving him some of the information that I have, and so we do visit together because we all want to support each other in this work, and those are two districts that also utilize police departments from the surrounding community rather than having their own police department. So while there's some similarities, there are also some differences, but I learn from everyone. Absolutely.
Go right here and then back over here.
En Spanish. Es casi la misma pregunta. Estamos a punto ya de finalizar el año escolar. Estamos a pocos meses y han ocurrido estos dos incidentes de diferentes escuelas. ¿Cuál ha sido el trabajo que van a realizar para que no vuelva a suceder y que los niños regresen el día de mañana a clases seguros y sus padres de familia?
Bueno, para lo que vamos a hacer inmediato es vamos a tener más personas en las escuelas ahorita. Comenzando mañana vamos a tener una presencia de la policía más, how do I say, visible. Pero eso es una solución que es muy temporada porque estoy usando personas de otros lugares, ¿verdad? Entonces tenemos que venir, juntarnos, tener una reunión para pensar cómo lo podemos hacer en una manera que va a ser un sistema de estar más seguros en los estacionamientos.
I know we have a lot of questions. We're going to start wrapping here in the next few minutes. So I'll go here, see your question here. Damon, if you give me a second, I'm going to give him his first, and then we'll try to come back to you.
So I know some of the information is limited at this point, but can you expand at all on the logistics of the investigation, DPD versus Dallas ISD police? Who's leading and what does it look like there?
So we're fortunate that we have detectives within our own Dallas ISD PD. And our detectives, though, will be working very closely. DPD will provide us any support, but it also helps DPD to allow us to take the lead. In many instances, our police officers, because they are community-based at our schools, do have relationships and contacts that are a little different than the amount of individuals that, a larger police department like the Dallas Police Department has to support. And again, I feel very confident in the investigation. There is a lot of information that I really wish I could share. I'm just not able to share it at this time. I will never be dishonest with you all. I do have information. We do have information. We do feel confident that there's going to be a resolution. This was an isolated situation. I feel confident about that as well. And I also know I still have to bring a degree of more safety and security to our families, even though I know and can say it was an isolated situation. I still know what that feels like as a mom. So,
And go right here and then back over here.
okay.
Did the suspects ever exit the vehicle? And also, were there any other students or staff in the vicinity of the victim at the time of the shooting?
Yeah, I'm quite sure our detectives have that information. We were able to pull video from the Walnut Hill Leadership Academy, as well as there were some additional video pieces. But I did not ask that question, so I don't have that information. And at this time, I would rather we not share how much we know about that particular portion.
Sorry, Fox 4, and then we're right here, and then Damon will come back to you.
Madam Superintendent, as that mom, as the superintendent, what would your message be to the students going forward?
So I want to continue to, first of all, I want to thank our students. Our students could have contributed to making this situation worse. That is not the TJ way. Our students immediately paid attention to the adults who were calling them back into the building. There were approximately 300 students still on campus of the roughly 1,400, and they were immediately escorted. Within 2 minutes, they were inside the building, protected in lockdown, and they've also cooperated. Those individuals that were in the parking lot that did witness the event were very forthcoming in general and working, with individuals so that we can understand. I want to thank our students for their courage and for them to continue to communicate with us, and if they need mental health support, that we are here to provide that support for them. And we want TJ to return to being the safe haven that it always has been for them. That is one of the things that the students from TJ continually have talked about, is that no matter what's happening in their neighborhoods, that they always have felt safe at the school. We need to make sure that continues.
We've got about 3 more, and I promised you one, so you'll be the last one after Damon. Yes.
Just to be clear, the two people in the car, they noted the ISD, you're not looking for anybody's identity or in the crime?
Yeah, the information I have right now is that we do have a suspect, if that helps answer that question. Good morning.
I was speaking with my mom on the way over here. I said, Mom, what question would you like to ask? She asked what I was doing today. And she said, I want you to ask, is the superintendent afraid of copycats? We shut down school today. 2 days from now, if there's another shot on campus without a fatality, are you worried about copycats? Are we going to have to shut down every single time this happens?
So, I think such an interesting question. And the best way I can answer that question is to tell you that in today's time, there is not a day until I go to sleep. There is not a day that I'm not worried about something happening on a school ground, period. Do I really think there's going to be this exact copycat? No, because the information I have at this point is that this was, again, an isolated situation. But does that really change the fear? No. And I have to balance. Between, we have to be authentic with our community, and at the same time, we have to recognize schools are still a very safe place because of all that we have done. And that is why I think it's incumbent upon me to also remind everyone of where these incidents have occurred. It's not just at schools. This is a manifestation of our entire community. We must really deal with the root issues. Schools are going to continue to do what they've always done. They're always going to put kids first. That's what our teachers, our support staff, our educators do. And there isn't a day that I do not go home and just pray.
Thanks, Dr. Elizalde. I think you may have answered this question in Spanish, but so I'm getting in English, I appreciate it. You mentioned the concern still remains, even though we haven't been told, or the committee doesn't know if or who potential suspects may be. It still may be a concern for people returning to the campus, both
environment at the campus look like? More police presence? What will it look like outside?
Thanks for asking the question again. You're right, Demond. I answered it in Spanish and not in English, and I appreciate you. We will absolutely have an increased police presence, very visible, the rest of the week at a minimum. I have also committed to assigning a police officer to the Walnut Hill Leadership Academy campus for the remainder of the year at a minimum. And there are a lot of other things that we're going to be working on. Is there a way to relocate certain parking lots that we have for students? Is there a way to put gates in certain areas? There are a lot of folks that are going to have a lot of different ideas on how to create solutions. I want everyone to know we're going to entertain them all. We're going to look at all of them. What I don't think is helpful is when we immediately think we have an answer without really looking at what other issues that we may have. And so I'll close by restating there will absolutely be increased police presence, and we will do that until the campus is ready to feel more comfortable. And our team is committed to do that. And it's not just a police presence. We will have central office staff, reassigning folks. We want to be here to help and support teachers in the classroom as well in any way that we can. And I'm going to introduce to you all our magnificent leader here from Thomas Jefferson High School, Principal Ben Jones.
Thank you, Dr. Elizalde. Again, I'm Principal Benjamin Jones. I am going to apologize. I am conversational in Spanish, but as you might imagine, my emotions are running a little high this morning. So I will only be speaking English in an effort not to speak incorrectly if I were to attempt Spanish this morning. I want to echo first a few things that Dr. Elizalde said. One, I am immensely proud of the response of our staff and team here at Thomas Jefferson. Again, we did have staff immediately respond to the incident, and within minutes, our campus was secure. Students were relocated back in the building, and DPD, DISD PD, Dallas Fire and Rescue were able to be on campus, support the student, and begin the investigation immediately. It is for that I am immensely grateful for my team, the leadership work, and just the contributions of every educator. Again, custodian, TA, support staff, teacher, on this campus in supporting the safety and security of our campus. It pains me to know that our community fell victim to this unimaginable incident. Obviously, earlier this week, I sat back with my own family and reflected on a news story and said, I can't imagine that happening here. And it did. This is our worst nightmare. And we prepare for situations like this. And yesterday we saw that preparation in practice. And our procedures and our protocols in response to the situation worked. Students were kept safe in the aftermath of the incident. As history shows, our community especially is resilient and strong. Many of you have been on this campus recently as we welcomed ourselves back after another tragedy. Our community, the TJ family, is immensely resilient. This is a safe haven. This is something that does not happen here. And yet it did. And so for us, today is about coming together as a faculty, as a staff, as a community, and reminding ourselves that, as Dr. Elizalde said, this is not 1,411 of our students. This is a very, very small number. And tomorrow, 1,411 of our students will come back into this building. And it is and will continue to be a safe place to learn and teach and lead and grow. Because that is the community that we have built here and will continue to build here. There will be lessons to be learned. We will learn them. We will continue to reflect and improve and do everything we can to continue pursuing an even safer community. Because we have to. We had to do that before this happened yesterday, because that is the society and the world we now face every day. It hits home just a little bit closer because this happened to us, but it is no different from what it was on Monday. We will continue to look for ways to improve and continue building a safer community both on campus and off campus, to partner with our families and our community organizations, to empower our families so that students feel hope, that families feel connected, so that the choices that lead students here don't become what they feel is their best option. That is the TJ way. That is one way that we move forward, is to continue building the relationships that we value so that our students and our families know that the path forward is bright. The opportunities are endless, and they start at our elementary schools, they start at Burnett, they start at Walnut Hill, they start at Cigaroa, they start at KB Polk, they start at Saldivar, they continue at Medrano, and they continue here at TJ. That is the work we do. That is the work we will continue to do. And tomorrow we will welcome our students back. We will love them. We will support them. And we will continue that work. Today is about getting our staff back in a place where they have healed, because yesterday we had to send text messages to family. To let them know that we were okay. I didn't get to send a text message to my family. I got to receive one. I saw you on the news walking in your parking lot, so I know you're okay. We are okay. We will continue to be okay because the TJ family is strong. And we will move forward, supporting each other to do what is best for our staff, our faculty, our students, and our families. Thank you. I'll take some questions.
The two employees who Superintendent Rizalde mentioned rushed for the shooting, can you talk about that?
I will. So I'll actually edit that a little bit. As I said that this morning in our faculty meeting, someone came and corrected me. It was 3. So I will correct it because by the time I had gotten out there, which was only 4 minutes from when it happened, there was a third. Our athletic trainer was able to render first aid. Our band director was the employee who called 911 within about 30 seconds of the incident. And our assistant athletic coordinator was the employee who was able to call me all about simultaneously, so that I was able to immediately communicate with our district leadership so that the response in all facets was able to happen immediately. Again, first aid rendered on the scene immediately, EMS was here very quickly, district leadership was here within 10 minutes to help support our staff through all the process.
So all three of them were with the student?
All 3 of them were with the student.
Before I get to your question, Niels, would you share about who all is here today? What team members are here today? I think that's really important.
It is important. After these situations, you do expect that maybe some people won't feel like coming to work the next day. 100% of our staff, other than 5 that we're planning to already be gone. One is taking their PPR to become a teacher. She's a TA on our campus. She's taking her PPR so that she can become a teacher. And then 4 of our staff members are at a conference today, but every other staff member reported to work today to support each other. And we think that is a phenomenal response from our team and speaks to the resilience and the support that they hold for each other.
We have a question here, and the gentleman next to you.
How is the student treated who is shot doing? And I know that y'all are providing services to the students and staff. Have anyone actually visited those students and anything like that?
So I don't want to speak about this condition of the student right now. I can say we've been in contact with the family, so we are aware of his condition. I do not want to share any more details out of respect for their confidentiality, but that's all I will say about his condition. When it comes to support for students, we do have folks here. The students that were directly surrounding the event, we have their information and have reached out to them so that they are aware of the services. Honestly, I've been in a faculty meeting and then I've been here with you, so I'm not aware of students that have taken advantage of it, but there might be, but I'm just not aware of it right now.
Yes, we have a question.
Can you shed some light on why Walnut Hill is also closed today?
That might be a question for Dr. Elizalde to answer kind of holistically with that approach look like.
So let me just share that the parking lot where the incident occurred is actually closer to Walnut Hill Leadership Academy in its proximity. It sits between Thomas Jefferson and Walnut Hill. And while most of the students had already been released, team members from Walnut Hill were still at the campus. And so the sense of team, if you will, if you really understand, I think everyone here would understand the use of the word family. And so when it happens to your brother or sister, everyone is hurting and everyone is feeling that. So to have had classes, again, as usual there, would have felt as if we were minimizing what emotions. I was on what we consider 2 schools on one campus site. And so we're treating this as one campus site. And the last piece that I think is also very important is I asked the principals, and they called a few of their team members and asked them, what would make you feel better? And so from getting that feedback is how we made that decision collectively.
More questions in here? If not,
Yes, we did.
did parents receive communication about what's happening in this?
Mr. Principal, you said this type of thing does not happen in this community of TJ. It has happened now. What would your message be to your colleagues, other principals, about preparing for such a thing?
I've spoken to a lot of colleagues. I'm thankful for my colleagues, my friends, who've reached out over the last few days, not last few days, last 16 hours, to ask how I'm doing. I don't know that there's anything you can say. You control what you can. You practice, you drill, you prepare. And when it happens, you have faith in your staff that they'll respond appropriately, as ours did. Our team did what we practice. And then you get help. You call your excellent superintendent. And you get help. And you call mental health services. And you get help. and you get help.